Boys and girls, ladies and gents, welcome to another episode of Stadium and Gale. It's your favorite Uncle Silk.
It's Dan.
And Delatorre.
We back at it, man. Same corner, same time. Some good news, some bad news. We had almost time for football season. How y'all boys feeling? Y'all good?
Yeah, I think we're 8 weeks away, 8 Saturdays away.
All right. That's it.
54 days, however many
54
Saturdays
days.
that is.
It's
Until
good to
the
be
AR
back recording on Monday night. Feel back with it, right? We had July 4th last week. I know it was a long time ago, but you guys have a good July 4th?
Yeah, did you pull the cannon out?
No cannon. Did go to a DJ. Did go to a pool party. Had myself a blast.
The cannon is small enough that it would have been a hit. Yeah, it could have been an accessory at the pool party.
That's the thing, man, because everybody makes fun of cannons that doesn't have a cannon, right? So you guys say it's a small cannon. All I know is that sucker will fire off, a cannon.
That cannon's so small you could have smuggled it into the party.
Yep, sure could have.
I don't know if they would have appreciated that, but the vibes were elite on July 4th. Pool party, fireworks, can't complain.
Nice. Fireworks was a little over the top, man. It'd just be too many days of just popping, bro. Like, I get it at the day of, get your shit off, man. But like a week later, like 2 weeks later, they're still going off. It's just like a little bit too much, man. But how was the fireworks show? It was nice?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Watched it from right here where I am downtown, Water Street. Beautiful. We avoided the rain. The rain stayed north of where I am. So
major key.
Beautiful 4th of July. Cannot complain. Last year it rained and then all the fireworks were delayed. There was some sort of technical malfunction. They were 30, 45 minutes delayed. And then they tried to bring everybody back. So they ended up being an hour and a half, 2 hours delayed. I'm got things to do. Better things to do. So
I'm not waiting around for the firecrackers like they Michael Jackson. I gotta go 2 hours later.
No. Yeah, I've seen my fair share of fireworks in the day. Nothing new,
Dan's firework show was brought to you by Terry. There's a little delay.
Terry.
Put it in reverse, Terry.
Put it in reverse, Terry.
By Terry and my 1776 cannon,
Yeah.
What a combo. Nick, how was your 4th, bro?
The girlfriend was back home, just kicked it, hung out with some friends. See, I forget though the
real fireworks, man.
I forget though I forget it's Monday, so it was a work day for me. So I'm still doing stuff. We're still writing stories.
That's un-American. They made y'all right on the 4th.
I mean, I guess I could have written everything on the 3rd, but I'm playing well. So I was working through it, but easy week, easy weekend, nice weekend when she's in town, but not definitely no pool party,
light work,
no electronic disco like Dan. Nick,
one of these days we got to have you come down. Silk, you too, but Nick, you've been throwing a lot of shade my way.
Listen, I'll have a good time, I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't know if I can survive a bender, man. I do want to hit one of the day joints, man. I haven't been to a day party in a long time.
That's all we do the day joints.
Yeah, that's the only party it is to do is the day party. I mean, I party at work at the Kush House, but it's not a party. You know what I'm saying?
No,
I need to step out and do something in Tampa real soon.
No, we need to go down to Miami, and then we start at 11, migrate to space. That's when the night party turns into the day party. You get both.
I am not sure that I am allowed in the 305 for a little while.
Uh-oh.
No, you safe. You safe, man.
As long as
check in with me, man. You good, man. You
check in with Sil.
Check in with me, man. You fine down there. That's my city.
As long as I have Life Wallet, I'll be safe.
As long as all your information's on Life Wallet, you'll be fine.
Yeah. That's a nice joke. I'm gonna be down there for my birthday, most likely. I know I'm going down there to check out a show, and I'm gonna be down there vibing a little bit, here and there. But yeah, Miami's a great city, man. It's not really Twitter, Twitter's a different place than the actual place, Miami.
You're not allowed in 305 Twitter.
Who? That's my Twitter too.
Both of you, probably.
Yeah, all of it's mine.
Both of you.
I do what I want.
I feel like I'm fine. I'm fine.
You are. You safe, man.
I'm good, baby.
Oh man. Hey guys, we are live streaming now on YouTube. We're going to probably do this for most episodes. Couple fun announcements. So we have Josh Braun joining the show today. He'll be joining us in a few minutes. We also have an interview with Todd Golden that we will be doing on Wednesday that we're super excited about. Have a number of other interviews that we are working on as well. So the content will continue and will flow. But do want to give a couple shout outs to some folks here. In the comments section. Nick, this one's directed to you. We were talking about it pre-show. And our boy D was wondering, hey, how's that Ember sponsor coming along?
Bro, I need to talk to my guy, Ryan Todd, who's the owner. Paid full price on Saturday. Listen, Ryan, no more free promo.
Yeah, help the guy out.
I don't know if that's smart. I want the white buffalo. Ziga holla at me, cuz. You know what I'm saying? I need the big booth. Ellis booth. Shout out to Ellis, man. I appreciate you, man, your friendship and all that. But I need that table and I need, you know what I'm saying, permanent residency.
Yeah, Nick and I were at that table. Buff. I believe it's the same one when I was up there for that Tennessee game. So we need to go back and put the have some elite vibes again. Everybody
in the comments, man, real quick. David, shout out to David hanging out. My man DK, Dwayne, Fragrance Journey. All y'all retweet, share, like. Let everybody know we on Twitter hanging out a little bit. We're going to keep the live show rolling, man, on a weekly basis, man, for y'all to catch us live if y'all got time.
Absolutely. Well, we have Josh Braun waiting for us, so let's get on with the show. As always, the title sponsor of Stadium and Gale is Allen Horn Insurance, located in Jasper, Georgia. So if you are in Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, or Georgia, give him a call at 706-692-2888 or visit him at allenhorninsurance.com. Again, allenhorninsurance.com if you are looking for auto, home, renters, life, business insurance, retirement planning, whatever the case may be. 706-692-2888 or visit him at allenhorn, that's HORNE, insurance.com. And with that, we welcome the pride of Live Oak, Florida, Josh Braun, onto the show today. Josh, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, man. It's a pleasure to have you on. We appreciate the Gator Collective for helping make this interview happen. Josh, I want to start this interview as I always do. You were obviously a highly touted recruit out of Live Oak there. Previously committed to the University of Georgia as well. You make a flip to the University of Florida. But tell us a little bit about how you ended up wearing the orange and blue.
So going through my recruiting process, it was really mainly me and my dad. And he had gone through it before with both my older brothers. And so he knew how these things worked, how it operated, what exactly we were looking for. And so we narrowed it down to 3 areas that we wanted to focus on in recruiting. The first one was academics, what I wanted to study, and graduate programs and where to go on from there outside of football. Then it was just, as it is with everyone, football, development, playing, what conference I'd play in, just who would I go against in practice every day. And then the third area was just where I wanted to live, during college and after college, because my oldest brother went to Georgia Tech in Atlanta. And while he was there, he was able to establish roots in Atlanta. And so he's been living there for 7 years now after his graduation. And so we knew that this would all, no matter where I chose to go to college, it was most likely where I would be for a good portion of my life, whether it's 4 to 5 years or even longer. And so we toured all the Florida schools, slowly branched out. I took one trip it went Clemson, South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. And then I think to Miami. And then we did a West Coast swing because my father and I both grew up USC fans. My grandfather sold newspapers in the Coliseum, and the Braun family is originally from California.
Oh, nice.
And so it was always a dream of ours to go out there and see LA.
I don't get California vibes from y'all, man. Your dad seems like an old school Southern guy that don't do a lot of nonsense, man. So,
Live Oak's a
we're,
lot different than LA.
Yeah, it's the Braun family has really gone through a change from LA to Florida, but
brand makeover.
Originally
A little brand makeover.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. No more California boys. If you had met my uncles, you could see the California in us. But
gotcha.
And so after that, we didn't want to get it. We didn't want it to be too big. Now with hindsight being 2020 and NIL being what it was and what it is now, we probably would have gone about it a little differently. Maybe chased a star here or there, but I have no regrets on how I went about recruiting. It really allowed me to make the best decision possible. And so as we neared the summer of my junior year going into my senior year, we wanted to be done with recruiting by my senior season so that I could enjoy the last fall of high school, because I knew I was going to graduate early. That was the plan since I was in middle school. Ever since my oldest brother graduated early, I knew that's what I wanted to do. And so we narrowed it down to 3 schools going into that end of spring, early summer, with it being South Carolina, Florida, and Georgia. I took an official visit to Florida first, then South Carolina, and then Georgia. And then in between, there were 2 weeks, they were spaced out 2 weeks apart. And in between my South Carolina and my Georgia visit, I got a call from South Carolina saying that they had taken their 5th lineman and that their class was full, and so that they rescinded their scholarship offer. And in my head, I always knew that was a possibility, but I never truly believed it. And so once that was happening, I understood that there was a clock on this, and the clock was expiring quicker than I thought it was. And so after talking with both of my parents, my now wife, and both of my brothers, at the time, given the information that I had, and just with what was going on at the time, I am initially committed to the University of Georgia. I thought I wanted to major in business. I wanted to be close to Atlanta. And Sam Pittman, who's now the head coach at Arkansas, was the O-line coach, which is, when he was your O-line coach, I mean, he's a head coach caliber coach. And so it's quite the sell. And so after that, recruiting died down. I didn't talk to any other coaches. The only thing I did was I went to the Florida-Auburn game with my wife because her sister had season tickets. And I didn't want to go. She convinced me to go. And so we went, and I absolutely loved it. And all throughout the game, in the back of my head, I was thinking how awesome it would be to play at the Swamp on this field with this crowd. And that's when the seeds of doubt started growing. Mm-hmm. But
you heard that roar. The Michael P. Ryan hit the edge, and you heard that roar.
That was different. I started to question my decision, but I wouldn't let myself go there. So I shoved it deep down and tried to ignore it until Sam Pittman took the head coaching job at Arkansas. I was sitting in the movie theater with both of my parents and my wife watching Ford versus Ferrari. And my dad hands me the phone as the previews are going on. And it's a tweet. I forget from who. Anyway, the tweet said, Pittman going to Arkansas, leaving Georgia. And then he turned his phone off and we watched the movie. And all throughout the movie, I was thinking what my next steps would be, how I would handle this. And so that night I called Coach Smart at Georgia and decommitted. And then the next day,
was that, Josh, sorry to interrupt. What was that conversation like? Was he pretty understanding, or did he try to convince you? Yeah.
He tried to convince me, but ultimately he knew where I stood, is that relationships were the number one decision maker in my process, that I would not feel comfortable going to a place that at the time had no O-line coach. And so he was very understanding. He wanted to try to change my mind back and convince me to stay, which is understandable. Mm-hmm. But so after that conversation, the next day, Coach Hevesy called me and set up a home visit. So Sunday, Pittman leaves. Monday, Coach Hevesy was in my living room meeting with my parents and myself. And then Tuesday, I committed to Hevesy and Mullen in the University of Florida. And then Friday, I was on campus practicing with the team.
What was your relationship like with Kirby? What was he like in the recruiting process?
I mean, we didn't have like a relationship per se. It was mainly he's the head coach of the school I wanted to go with. I never bought into we're friends. He cares what I'm doing day to day. I understood that he wants me to play for him and to win games for him. And so when I visited, we had contact and we would meet and he would tell me all the great things I'll accomplish and all that, yada, yada, yada. But most of it ran through Pittman. Right. Just because I didn't care for all the hoopla and other recruits did. And so I didn't want them to spend resources on me that they could spend elsewhere. Yeah.
So what was that like for you? You go from thinking you're going to one school, and then a week later you're enrolled and on campus on a different school. I mean, what that doesn't happen very often. I mean, obviously for the Gator faithful, they're thrilled. Obviously they wanted you from the beginning, but definitely not something that, until a bunch of dominoes fall. But we see it from an outside perspective, but mentally, what's that like for you?
By nature, I'm very indecisive. And so when I was in middle school, I can remember my mom telling me, she's like, if you can't even decide what cereal to buy in the grocery store, how are you going to choose what college you're going to? And so I'd always worried that I would always doubt where I went to school, if I should have made a different decision. But as soon as I stepped on campus, I told myself that this is where God wants me to be. This is where I've decided to be, and this is where I am. So there's no point in wishing to be somewhere else, thinking about being somewhere else. Just my dad taught me to be where my feet are, and my feet were in Gainesville. And so this is where I'm supposed to be, and this is where I want to be.
How did that work with, you said you got married. Congratulations. Is that recent?
Thank you. Yes, sir. It was June 18th. So
not too long. You're coming up on a month.
Yeah, coming up on a month.
That's the hardest part.
That's the easiest part. To be honest.
How did that work?
It should be. The first month should be I'm sorry, Nick. The first few months should be a breeze, Josh. If it's not a breeze right now, you got problems.
Don't take my advice, right?
Don't take Dan's advice at all.
No,
Go ahead, Nick.
It's been very great. So
how you guys were dating in high school, so how did that work out? I'm assuming, that's a big tall task of like, okay, well, we're dating in high school, we love each other, where are we going? Are you going to go to Georgia if I go there? And then in a week, it's like, okay, well, we had plans for Georgia, coach left, and now we're going to a rival in a different place. Mm-hmm. How did that it's closer to home for her.
Yeah. So we met the first day of freshman year of high school in science class. And yeah, I think I slid in her DMs, but she followed me first. And so anyway, it's a big debate between us of who started it.
Who threw the first shot? I like it.
Yeah. I like it. But so we dated throughout high school. I was in her quinceañera, which is a huge 15th birthday party in the Hispanic community. And I was one of her chambelans, which is an attendant type thing. And so it always loomed over us where I would go to college, because for about a week or two, it looked like I wanted to live in LA. I had just watched La La Land, the musical with Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone. And so I was very high on LA. And if I went to California, we wouldn't be able to stay together because that's too far in long distance. So it definitely loom over us while I was being recruited and when I was making my decision. When I was going to go to Georgia, we said we would try to make it work. She looked at some colleges in Georgia, but we both didn't really feel like it was going to work out. And then when the opportunity came to go to Florida, I felt like God was telling me to go to Florida. And part of that reason is because I feel like he wanted me and her to be together and to get married and for us to be together for life. And so
that's why she took you to the Auburn game.
Yeah, exactly. She grew up a Florida fan. Her dream was
smart woman there, bro. You got you, man. Yeah.
I do. She's incredibly smart.
Real quick, man. You played tennis, watch musicals. How do you click into mall people in the trenches mode when it's time to play football?
That's a good question. There are definitely two sides to who I am. The musicals and tennis is definitely one side, but it's just being around my teammates, being around the guys, stepping on the field, putting the cleats on, putting the knee braces on, putting the shoulder pads and the helmet on. Once you strap it up, it's time to go. And there's no room for musicals or playing tennis on the football field. It's 100% locked in. And just once you, like right now, I'm sitting in my chair in like my study, but I'm not in a football mood. But once it starts getting closer to camp, the switch will turn. Once we just step on that field and go to that first intro meeting, it all clicks. And
do you have a mode of like how do you operate on social media and all that when it gets closer to season as well, or what's your mindset for that?
I do, sort of. I'm not on social media that much to begin with, so and posting and tweeting and all that. But I'll scroll through Instagram. Last camp, I deleted Instagram, and I didn't have Twitter at the time, I think. Or maybe I did, but I didn't use it. But I just try not to read what anyone else is saying because it can mess with your head, and it has messed with mine before. But the main part is the people sending you messages is what I try to stay away from. I can remember we were on the bus going to the Georgia game. Like we had left the hotel on the bridge overlooking the St. John's going to the field. And a fan DM'd me and he said, last week your run grade was like a 15 or something by PFF or whoever grades it. I don't even know, which didn't make sense to me because I graded out on paper, like Hevesy graded me out and I got a necklace or a dog tag. And so I showed Michael Tarquin and I was like, look at this. And we both had a chuckle, but if you're not careful, it can definitely mess with your mind. And so I try to stay away from at least the DMs and the fan pages who post about stats and all that.
Right.
Josh, I know you're still getting used to it. Obviously, you had a year with John Hevesy, and now you're working with Coach Sale and Coach Stapleton. What are some of the differences in maybe some of their techniques? And obviously, I know that there's not a full picture you can paint just yet, but what are some of the differences?
Yeah, their philosophies are very different. There are many ways to skin a cat, especially at the offensive line. At the end of the day, you just have to block the person, and the running back has to score a touchdown. And so how you do that can differ. They're very opposite in personality and in coaching styles, but there are positives and negatives to both. I feel like we as an offensive line, as a unit, have transitioned very smoothly into Sale's offense and his style of play. And from what I can tell, we all have bought in 100% and are falling in love with how he does things. The practices are much more fast-paced because we have 2 offensive line coaches and 2 assistants and an intern. And so just with that many people, that support structure, meetings can go a lot quicker, practice goes a lot quicker, individual goes a lot quicker. Just you get a lot more work done, and you can progress at the finer things that you need to focus on so much easier since there's so many people.
You said you were big in recruiting on relationships. I got to know Richard Garage a little bit, and he was really big on that same thing and wanting to know who his coach was. Mm-hmm. What did it do for you when Dan was fired, and or even before that when Coach Hevesy was fired, And where was your mental state in the off season, leading up to Billy being hired and Coach Sale coming over, and just, I guess, that uncertainty, that period of uncertainty?
Mm-hmm. It was definitely stressful. During the season, me and Azuzana, my wife, now girlfriend, or used to be girlfriend, now wife, we didn't get to eat out a lot, like have a dinner, share a meal. And so after the South Carolina game, I was feeling really down. Everyone was sick. We had the flu. It was a night game in South Carolina, so we didn't get back till like 2 a.m. So that Sunday, we were like, let's do something fun. Let's go out to eat at Yamato's, which is a hibachi place in Gainesville. And so we sat down, we put our order in, and I get a phone call from Coach Hevesy. And he told me that he had been fired. We spoke briefly, and then we hung up. And 2 weeks later, after the Missouri game, I was feeling down. We decided to go out to eat after church at Sonny's. And then we put our order in, we sat down, and I got a Teamworks message, which is the messaging app we use as a team, that we had a team meeting in an hour. And at that point in time, that could only mean one thing. And so I went in. The athletic director told us that he was going in a different direction. Coach Mullen spoke to us for a little bit, and then he left. And so after that, we were both a little hesitant to go out to eat because we didn't know if someone was going to get fired.
All right, we're going to Publix. We're going to Publix, and we are cooking at home.
Yeah.
We need an NIL deal with some meals to be sent to the house. There are no more eating out in the Braun household.
Yeah. So it was just like a little superstition, but it definitely made us second guess if we were going to go out to eat that night. But it was stressful for all of us. I mean, a lot of guys didn't know what their next steps would be, if they should go to the league this year or last year, or if they should go somewhere else, what was going to happen with who they were going to hire. It was just a lot of uncertainty, and we each dealt with it in our own ways. Part of my problem was I kind of after Hevesy got fired, there wasn't someone monitoring our meals. And then once Coach Mullen got fired, there really wasn't anyone monitoring our meals. And so once we came back at the start of January, we had to refocus and lose a little bit of weight.
Were you eating the Jamaican bacon?
Well, the old DFO used to make, like, he would make the best milkshakes when we were on the road. And so, yeah, that doesn't need any more explanation. But
what's a little bit of weight to somebody like the three of us at 5'10"? Corey weighs like 112 pounds now, soaking wet. But Dan and I,
all right, man, be respectful.
We might need to lose 10 pounds. But for someone of your size, what's a little bit of weight for someone who's listed at 6'6", 350?
Yeah, so that the weights on those things are never accurate. I would like to say that last year I played around 355, 353 maybe, but towards the end of the season, definitely the upper 50s. And so I've dropped about 20 pounds. I was 338 last Friday. And then, yeah.
Are you one of those gym rat guys? Are you one of those guys that just love the gym, being there, work out? I've seen some of your videos, and man, you doing some serious weight. What's your work ethic like?
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily call myself a gym rat, but that doesn't mean when I'm in the gym I'm not working hard.
Right.
When it's time to work out, I attack the weight, and I will do extra. But like I don't do it to the extreme.
Right.
Like some guys you have to kick out of the weight room. I like to do yoga. I like to work on my flexibility.
Oh man, you in my bag now. Let's go.
Yeah.
Bro.
And so the time that when guys spend 3 extra hours working their biceps or their shoulders or this, I try to focus more on flexibility and my mobility and ankles and hips and shoulders and my back especially.
In case you gotta go back out there and play tennis.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the vibes.
Yeah, tell us more about tennis, man. You were a state quarterfinalist. Is that right?
Yes. I was a state quarterfinalist in doubles. I was the 2 seed my junior year. In tennis, there are 5 seeds. Yeah, there are 5 seeds. 5 seeds play, and then there are 1 doubles and 2 doubles. And so my sophomore year, around Christmas time, after football season, I had 2 workout periods. And so the second workout period, since we were out of season and we had a little break, I went to the gym and we played ping pong. And so I got really good at ping pong, and the PE coach happened to be the tennis coach, and she told me to come out for tennis tryouts and see if I like it. And so that first week, I just absolutely fell in love with the game. And I think I was the 7th seed on my team. I got to practice, but I didn't really play in matches that much because I'd never played tennis before in my life. So I just got a good understanding, good feel for the game, set a foundation so that over the summer, me and the number 1 seed, Seth Land, we played tennis about 4 or 5 times a week. And I progressed a lot over that time so that the following season I was able to be the 2 seed, was the number 1
Nice.
doubles. I won the playoff match for our district championship that gave us the win. And then I went to state for doubles and made it to the quarterfinals.
Who was your biggest opponent?
Like biggest size wise, or
Yeah,
like
size wise. Yeah, like
there might have been like a 5'10", 170-pound kid, but
right.
other than that, no.
That's nuts, man. I want to go back to football real quick. I think we have a kind of a general idea, but you mentioned having 2 coaches. You mentioned efficiency. You mentioned being able to work through drills a little bit quicker. They're splitting duties based on guard, center, and tackle, or are they based on drill? Or talk to us a little bit about how that's all broken down.
Both. We split it down. Some drills will do inside 3 and tackles will be separate. Some will do right and left. Some will do center separate, guards and tackles. And both coaches alternate. Sometimes we'll be with Stape, sometimes we'll be with Sale, and vice versa.
Cool.
That was something I noticed from like the open portions that we got. I thought like, okay, they'll split it up and Sale will be the inside guy and Stape will be the outside guy. And I walked in like, I think that's just like left and right, just split.
Mm-hmm.
But that was something interesting. I mean, it's like being at a community college from like the student to teacher ratio. There's like with the interns, the coaches you have. How has that fast pacedness, and obviously not in the film room, but in practice, how has that changed your guys' physique and your stamina? And I mean, they do you guys dirty because like when you're doing like warm-ups and then you have to go 2 individuals, like you guys are nowhere near your individual station. They make the offensive line the entire length of the field to go from like warming up, or when you guys are doing like 7-on-7, 11-on-11, like to start and then to go to individuals. I'm like the DBs should be running like that, not the big guys.
Yeah, me and Osiris will joke about that because at the start of spring we would alternate who would go with 1s and 2s. And so every other day, one of us would have to go with the 2s during team tempo, which is 5 straight run plays as fast as you can, straight to individual where we would start it and run the drills nonstop. And then we would start with the 1s. So we'd go with the 2s for tempo and then the 1s for team run. And you would not get a break for that 20-minute period. And so we would joke because it was awful. It was horrendous, but we made it through. And it definitely, we're definitely in better football shape. Mm-hmm. Just mentally, we're all able to focus on the individual things easier. We don't lose focus as much as we did when there was more standing around time because there was only one coach. But speaking for myself, I love it. I love the fast-paced of practice. we get a lot more done in what feels like a shorter amount of time, even though it's a longer amount of time. But
David got a good question in on one of the fans. He wants to know what influence did your dad, West Point military, had on like your upbringing and your success so far, and also your brothers as well.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well,
now David know all your business, man. Bro, David know everything. He know why you took the Georgia visit, man. He got you down, bro.
Yeah. So, oh yeah. Actually, he mentioned something that I forgot about. So the Coach Smart actually did try to set something up, like some camp up for my sister-in-law, Anna Marie, who was a volleyball coach at the time, at Oglethorpe. Yeah. And so that was part of his recruiting pitch was he tried to swing her because her husband and my brother went to Georgia Tech. And so they were all against it. And so he tried to get an angle on her through volleyball. And it was funny that. Thank you for reminding me of that.
Yeah, recruiting encyclopedia.
Yeah. But so yeah, both of my parents went to West Point. My dad played left tackle, I believe, maybe right tackle. My dad played offensive line at West Point, and my mom played basketball. Now, when I say that, people get this mental image of Army family, very strict, very regimented. But that's not how it was. They were strict, but they weren't how you imagined them to be. Are
you the youngest though?
I am the youngest.
Oh, okay then. Yeah.
So it may be different. It may be different than my oldest brother.
The baby's getting treated a little different.
Yeah, bro.
But yeah, there were some things that were non-negotiables and that had to be done a certain way. But we didn't it wasn't how people imagine, like the stereotypical Army family.
Right.
It was not like that at all. But my dad coached both of my brothers and me in high school. They were a great support structure and just really enabled us to be who we wanted to be and guide us in that process. And then both of my brothers definitely influenced me through football. My oldest brother went to Georgia Tech to be an engineer, and he showed me the value of education and what it can do for you post-football. And then my middle brother also went to Georgia Tech, but he went to play in the triple option, and he showed me how to just work hard at something that is not easy and how to get what you want out of it. And I'm very appreciative to both of them because they both taught me different things that I needed to learn. And I'm very blessed and very fortunate to have learned them before I stepped foot onto a college campus and had to compete for a starting job.
What are you majoring in?
So when I got to UF, I declared engineering, spent about a year and a half in engineering before flipping to classical studies, which is Greek and Roman history and Greek and Latin language.
It's a lot less math.
Yeah. So
numerals for sure, though.
I did. So while I was in engineering, I did all the maths I could. Did both physics. It was not the smartest move I've done, but if I had declared classical when I got here, I could have graduated like a year ago, maybe. Anyway,
but still a two-time academic honor roll.
Yeah.
Right. National Merit semifinalist in high school. Congratulations.
Yeah, that they have that wrong on there. I'm a finalist, but
not a
because
big deal.
of my well, my brother was also a finalist, so it's a point of contention.
Family tradition.
Between me and him, it's a point of contention. So I just want to. The only reason I'm not a scholar is because my football scholarship won't allow me. So. Sorry to go off on a tangent, but
so no, you've got one up on him. No, correct.
The fans need to know that type of stuff too. Yeah, the fans need to know that.
Dave knew, but everybody else needed to know.
Yeah. Yeah, Dave knew everything. He got your transcripts.
Speaking of Dave, he's asking, when was your last trip to Dixie Grill?
Actually, like 2 weeks ago. It's one of the few. I think it's the only restaurant in Live Oak that's open on Sundays, and so we'll go with my parents after church if we go to church with them that weekend.
Listen, I know the Busy Bee is open 24/7.
That is, yeah. I'm not a Busy Bee guy. I'm
how? That's how I know I'm in Live Oak. I'm driving through and I see the sign. I'm like, oh, I'm in Live Oak now. I'm
a Wawa man through and through.
Oh, okay. There's no argument there at all.
Yeah, right.
No argument there at all.
I got a football question. From a mindset standpoint, you guys played a totally different style of offense with Dan Mullen, and going into Billy Napier's offense where it's run first, and our run game wasn't that solid. How do you guys getting better in that aspect of the game?
Just a fuller understanding of the offense as a whole. The coaches constantly preach that we should know what every position is doing on every play. And so given the more knowledge that we possess, the better we understand our jobs inside of the offense. And that frees us up to actually physically do the block when we're not mentally hung up on it.
Right.
And once you start understanding what the goal of the offense is and how we're going to accomplish that goal play by play, the belief and the buy-in automatically increases because you understand the thing better, so you can believe in it more. There's no doubts in the back of your mind. You understand the game plan. And so people keep telling me that the offense are entirely different, but I mean, we still – yeah,
it's definitely going to be different.
Yeah.
We finessed. We threw the ball around a lot with Dan the last couple of years, and I don't think we're gonna be pitching it around the yard as much as we did.
Yeah, the reason I say that is because in meetings we would always say we're gonna run first, but then it just wouldn't translate on the field.
Right.
So, but yeah, I mean,
traditionally that's what Dan Mullen offense did. Not to go back there, but traditionally his offense did run through the play action, run first, Tebow, like the boxes, numbers in the box, but that's not what we saw, I don't think.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to the season. Definitely I want to see how we do as a unit. I want to see how we do as an offense, and I want to see how we do as a team. Right. It's very exciting. I mean, we're getting close. We're, 23 days from camp?
You got 8 Saturdays, man. Y'all about to get, are we giving Utah this work, man?
Oh, yeah.
How's the off field? How's the camaraderie this summer? How are the guys getting along off the field?
We're definitely a lot closer than we were last year, I'd say. Coach Napier does this thing called Know Your Teammate. He gave everyone a sheet with everyone's hometown and their names, and he makes us memorize it, and then he'll test us as a whole. And it turns into a bit of a game. And once you have to ask your teammate where he's from, that's just an icebreaker to a conversation. And so we definitely know a lot more people on the team. Like I'm closer with the DBs this year than I was last year because Rashad Torrance is my off-season team leader, him and Michael Tarquin. And so just how they've structured everything, we all interact more, and it's just better.
All right, pop quiz then. Jordan Young, hometown.
Why would you do that? I haven't looked at it in a while.
I think
you said
Tampa, right? Is he Tampa?
Definitely Tampa.
It's Tampa.
Yeah, definitely
Tampa.
Yeah. Good job.
That's nasty. That's Nick. That's negative Nick, man. He's got to bring a negative moment.
He's got to
bring a negative moment.
We call him
I was going to go with
Sneaky
Kingsley because I had a question about Kingsley, but then he says he's close with the DB, so I switched to a DB. I'm on the roster page. Young is the last name. It was easy to scroll to the bottom.
Yeah. No, we talk. The hometowns are hard for me.
Yeah, you can ignore it.
Because everyone says a different hometown than what's on the sheet. So,
for sure.
Like for me, they have Live Oak as my hometown. But if one of my teammates asks me where I'm from, I say Suwannee County just because that's what I say.
Yeah.
But so yeah, it all gets confusing really quick. But we have the conversations, and me and Jay White talk. I talk to him every day when I pass his locker. So.
I had a question about Kingsley because I think the world of him, but we don't really talk. We probably don't write enough about offensive linemen in general.
That's because you can't pronounce his last name.
Egukan. I got
Nope.
it.
No.
Damn.
How do you say
Damn, I was
Iguacan.
confident too, Josh.
Iguacan. Yeah.
Iguacan.
Pop quiz for you.
There it is.
Yeah,
No, you failed. How do you
Hey,
feel?
I'm
Iguacan.
academically ineligible from lots of things, Josh, and I definitely was not going to be an engineering major. That's why we switched to journalism.
I just been calling him Kingsley, and I just do this. All right, whatever.
He's like Madonna. He's one name. Say
it one more time. One more time, guys.
Iguacan.
Iguacan.
Yeah, it's how it's spelled. When I first saw him, I had to ask him how to pronounce his last name, and he made me guess. And this is the worst I've ever pronounced a name ever. I thought it was Iguacan.
That's what I thought.
And so, yeah.
That last part sounds nuts, though.
I was just gonna say, careful.
Go
ahead, Nate.
What makes him a great center? Because there's a lot of responsibilities that I mean on every position of the offensive line, but then when you're in charge of protections and things like that and checks, what makes him a great center? And what is he like off the field as well?
So first off, what makes him a good center is that he fully understands the whole offense, what every offensive lineman is doing, what they need to do, the IDs. If one of the young guys doesn't know what to do, he can explain it to them in detail. But what makes him a great center, and what I think is going to be one of the best centers in college football this upcoming season, is his mentality. He attacks every drill, every lift, every practice with 100% effort and dedication. For instance, today, I still struggle learning my lesson lifting with Kingsley. It started last year when me and him started being in the same lift group for the first time. He'll just make crazy jumps. I'm talking like 90-pound jumps when he's already at a heavy weight. And so originally I told him, slow down, you're good, just take it step by step. But then after seeing that over and over again, I understood that he fully understood what he's capable of, and he's not going to let any doubt sway him from what he thinks he can do. A good example of that was today. We were doing heavy singles on bench, close to a max, and he hit 405 very easily. And we were all like, he asked us what he should do, if he should go 455 or 495. And we all said 455. And he said, you know what? No, put a plate on. He put 5 plates on, and he got it. I mean, it was quite impressive, but that's
you should at that point put the 2.5s on. Give me a nice round 500.
Yeah, maybe next week we'll see.
Yeah. He's been an impressive guy and there's been a couple centers at Florida that I guess to the fans, people that are in the locker room that have kind of just snuck up on us. I remember when TJ McCoy got a chance, he came out of nowhere and he was a great center. And I think Kingsley kind of caught us off guard when he started, but he's been really impressive as long as we've been able to see him.
Yeah, he's been preparing for his moment ever since I met him bowl season of his freshman year. He's been waiting and he's been working, and it's his time, and he's taking full advantage of it.
What's the addition of Osiris Torrance been like to you all?
It's been great. He's a 3-year veteran, has a lot of starts under his belt. He's played in some big games. He has a lot of experience in the offense. He has a lot of experience with the coaches. He knows the program. So if, for example, this summer we had something called the Ravens test, which is their conditioning test that they do for their athletes, and Coach Hockey made us do it. And so the first day we were going in to do it, everyone went to Cybo and was like, hey, what's this like? How are we supposed to do this? And so just his experience in the program with the coaches has been very beneficial. And then just his play style on the field, how he plays, it's improved my game. I believe it's improved Ethan's. Just his feet and his hands. They're so quick and they're so strong and they're so powerful that it's been a benefit to us two to see him play. And I'd like to think we also had the same effect on him. And so going into this season with that 3-guard rotation, we should be solid.
That's great, man. Nick, Silk, any more questions before we let Josh, who's been very gracious with his time today?
No, Josh, man, I appreciate your time, man. Great conversation, man. Good luck this season. Stay healthy. I want to see you maul some stuff, man.
No,
excited, man.
No plans on joining Tarquin and Ethan with their rock band hair?
My hair doesn't grow like that. If
Okay.
I could,
Man,
if I
this
could
man's
grow
responsible.
long hair,
He's married and stuff, man. You see
Yeah,
how he
that's
moving
true.
around here? Like,
if I could grow long hair, I would have grown long hair a while ago. My middle brother he had long hair for a couple years, and I was always jealous. But my hair it curls in, and it just doesn't look good.
Was it a fro?
Yeah, it froze, and it's
Froze.
Josh, like, it's not a good look. It's all right, Josh.
It's not a good look.
When you turn 30 like us, it starts going gray and it starts leaving.
You start losing it. Yeah.
Take what you got now, Josh.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah. We're all wearing hats for a reason, my friend. Well, Josh, we appreciate your time today. I know that you said you're not big on social media, but let everybody know where they can follow you on social media, and certainly everybody will be rooting for you.
Yeah, let me.
And stay out of his
I don't even
DMs.
know what it is. He's like, let me find out. I don't know, man. What it is?
Yeah, my Twitter is at loso72, and then my Instagram is l.oso72.
Nice.
And so El Oso is Spanish for the bear, which is what my mother-in-law would call me when I was dating my wife.
Yeah,
okay.
we got pet names,
That's
man.
funny.
I'm glad you said the mother-in-law, because I thought that was something like, I was like, bro, it's a Spanish pet name. I don't know.
No, I got
Now here's one. So I grew up with my grandma on my dad's side. My grandma was born in Cuba. They can cook. Now that you're on this, you guys are like weighing in every week, nutrition. Like when you go to the mother-in-law's house, the in-laws, do you have to watch what you eat? And what's the favorite dish when you're at your in-laws' place?
Yes, I have to watch what I eat, but my mother-in-law doesn't believe me when I say I'm trying to lose weight. So we walked in, and she immediately went to my wife, and she's like, "He looks so skinny. Are you not feeding him? What's wrong with you? What is going on?" And so we had to explain to her that I have to lose weight because I'm too big, and so I need to be smaller. And she's like, "Why? Big's good for football." So she doesn't quite understand. But my favorite meal is called a milanesa, and it's like it's a thin steak that's been fried, and you eat it with a tortilla and lime, and it's fantastic.
Never heard that. Sounds fire.
That is very Spanish mom though. To blame her daughter that she's not feeding her husband enough. That's
great.
Gotta fatten them up.
It's just been a great experience getting involved in their culture and their family.
Yeah.
And so I've been loving it.
That's really cool.
That's great, Josh. Well, we appreciate your time, my friend. Have a great rest of your day, and certainly best of luck next season.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me on. Y'all have a nice night.
You too.
All right,
We'll talk to you soon, brother.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
All right, boys.
Boy.
Josh Braun.
Ooh, I need some Cuban food tonight.
Great conversation, man.
Great conversation. Thanks everybody for the questions in the chat. Sorry we couldn't get to all of them. Certainly we will do our best in the future. So let's get us a Gramco ad read, and then we got a lot of news to talk about.
Be sure to visit thegramco.com. Use coupon code SG25 for 25% off gummies, wake and bake coffee, pre-rolls, sativa CBD products. All of their products, they take care of it from seed, from growth, all the way to packaging. No outsiders, so you know exactly where your source is coming from when it comes to CBD or THC, which is Delta 8. Everything is federally legal, shipped to your mailbox. Everything discreet packaged, and they have 3 different flavors with the gummies: blue raspberry, fruit punch, and watermelon. That's my go-to product with Gramco. I love the gummies and also the hard candy. Again, the coupon code is SG25 for 25% off of all of their products.
Perfect.
we
Well,
at with
last
it?
time that we chatted, the Gators grabbed a commitment from TJ Searcy, the defensive lineman. Not to be outdone, the Gators grabbed 3 more commits over the past week. All 2 of them on Friday, and then 1 of them on Saturday. The Gators first start off on Friday afternoon, grabbing the commitment of Marcus Stokes, nicknamed the Joker from Nice High School. Tim Tebow's playing alma mater as well. 6 foot 1.5, 190 pounds, 4-star quarterback. To fill in the gap, obviously the Gators were looking for a quarterback in this class. Flip Marcus Stokes from Penn State, shove James Franklin into a locker to grab him. But what are y'all's thoughts on the addition of Marcus Stokes?
Good get, man. With a rebound back, there wasn't a whole lot of public offers going out from these guys, so they kept that kind of discreet. They moved in silence, like the G in lasagna. But I thought it was good to be able, shout out to Weezy, to be able to snatch one from Franklin. Those guys are legit recruiters. He's a local kid. We should be able to do that. But it was a good bounce back. You lose out on Rashada, you still got to get a quarterback this class, and I'm not mad at that take. He played well at Florida camps. He also played well at Elite 11. Not a high-end blue chip kid that I wanted this cycle, to be honest with you, after dropping or not bringing in Nick Evers. But you got to secure a guy this class, man. And I do think we need another quarterback if Stokes is our guy, to be honest with you.
You think 2 in the class?
I don't know about the class because I don't like this quarterback class altogether, but I wouldn't mind flirting around in the portal a little bit if AR has a hot year and he's got to get out of here. I don't know if I feel comfortable going into the offseason what we have now. Even if Stokes is coming in, he's not going to compete right away.
I mean, best case scenario is like AR has a great year and decides to come back.
That's highly
that's hard to believe.
It's not gonna happen.
I don't know if I see that happening.
What kind of NIL bag could you have?
Yeah, there's no NIL bag to turn down real deals, man. If he has a crazy year, he's out of here. He's got to be. And if a good year, what we think for him is like him jumping over people and going like stupid. Highlight real, staying healthy, do what he got. If he stay healthy, I think he's going. That's just my take. Yeah. What do you got? What do you think about the get, Nick?
I'll start. I guess I'll start with Searcy. I think that's a great get. Searcy or Searcy, I think. I think that's a great get. I think
that happened live on the show last week. We were not expecting that one.
Right. Yeah. I really like Treyon Webb. Like, I think you need 2 running backs in this class.
Yeah, well, I'm jumping. Webb.
I'm jumping around all of them.
Yeah.
We just actually run a quarterback, bro. We just actually run a quarterback, man.
Sorry, I think Stokes is okay.
Talk about everybody but the quarterback.
I think it's a fine take. You needed a quarterback. The elite quarterbacks were off the board. I mean, Alabama's got 2 elite quarterbacks in their class. You needed a quarterback. It's a kid. You keep him in state. I think it's important for Billy Napier to hammer down those inroads with Jacksonville, Tampa, Broward County, Dade County, Orlando. Like, you need to start getting the kids that you want from in-state. So I think that's a good inroads. I think it's a fine take. I'm not. Yeah.
I think that's all you can really say, right? I mean, I think that he's fine. He's definitely one of the top quarterbacks in high school, right? Maybe a top, 20, 25 quarterback. Is he a guy that's going to really move the needle? I'm not sure. He's a little bit more athletic than I thought. I'll be honest with you. He had committed to Penn State quite a bit ago. Didn't really know. I know that he was still, saying somewhat connected to UF and obviously saw his name around the Elite 11 stuff, but he is a little bit more mobile and athletic than I thought. Sneaky quick, right? Gym rat type of guy. But
first in, last out.
Yeah, first go, real coach's kid, right? So definitely think, you needed to get a quarterback. You need to see some of the dominoes fall. I think it's going to attract some of the other wide receivers that were waiting on seeing what Florida was going to do. I think that he's good enough and serviceable enough for, some of the names that Florida's going after at wide receiver. And we'll talk about one of them here in a second to say, hey, this is a guy that I can see myself playing with. If Florida did not get that or had to settle for, somebody that was, a bit lower rated or maybe they didn't know. I think that you could have had some fishy things happen in recruiting, but I think that he's a big enough name, a good enough name, and I think that he's talented. I certainly think that he's talented than maybe some of the other quarterbacks that Florida's going to have on their roster going into next year. I've said this before, and I said it again. I think that Florida, especially if Anthony Richardson has a good season, is going to have to go out and grab another name because I don't know if Jack Miller and Kitna and Brown are the guys that you want, running out, leading that team next year.
Yeah, we had a thread on Gators Online. It was like, what happens to the season if AR goes down? I'm like, you pray.
Yeah. A lot of great TV on Netflix, a lot of great shows to watch.
The farmers market that Silk was going to last Saturday. Saturday in the fall.
No, I'm not going to the farmers market if my coach is really bought in, man. Win, lose, or draw, I'm gonna watch my Gators, play football if I know the coach is serious. I knew
if AR gets hurt, I'm
not going to the green market. No, I'm watching my team, man. I watched the 4-8 season because Muschamp was really trying to win. Like it was terrible watch. It was painful, but I watched every game because I knew he wanted to win the games. Dan Mullen wasn't bought in. He was throwing the games last year. We need a quarterback out of the portal, in my opinion. But yeah, the season's obviously dependent on all AR's health and his success, his maturation. Our whole season is not just on his back. It's not that type of pressure, but for us to have a really good season, it's going to be a guy like him to elevate everybody else's play.
Yeah, no, and I think the Florida's running back room will allow them to alleviate some of that pressure and stress that you would have otherwise had to have if you didn't have the skill set that I think that Florida has in that running back room. And I think the offensive line is going to really help. I think that, talking to Josh Braun, but also knowing the caliber of players that they have, that's, a really solid group that I think is going to help alleviate some of that pressure that may have been on, Emory Jones last year and, certainly quarterbacks in the past that didn't have those.
All right, let's talk about the recruiting.
I'm pretty high up on the offensive line too, Dan.
Probably our best unit.
I think they're really good. After the running backs, I think
better than the running backs.
Speaking of running back, let's talk. Gators also grabbed right after Marcus Stokes commits Treyon Webb, who, if you looked at the crystal ball predictions, had been trending towards Penn State. Treyon Webb is the nephew of former Florida Gators defensive back D Webb, 6'1", 205 pounds, 4-star guy out of Trinity Christian, also in Jacksonville. What do you guys think? I think a lot of them had Treyon Webb penciled into this class for a long time. Certainly there were some crystal balls that may have been some pump fakes out there to confuse some folks, but ultimately the Gators do grab one of what I would imagine are going to be two quarterbacks this cycle. This cycle.
Yeah, I think they needed two running backs. We have Treyon Webb as the number 6 running back in the country, so that's an elite get for Florida. Like you said, I don't even know if I had it penciled in, Dan. I think that was pen, maybe Sharpie. I had Treyon Webb in the class for a while now, but I think it's a great get.
That was not a lock. I know, we want to think. Nah, bro, that was not a lock. I like the
cousin, not nephew of D Webb. Sorry,
I just don't think it was a lock, man, because we like to call things locked, and then when we lose the kids, like, oh, Florida lost a legacy. How could Billy do that? No, they fought for that kid. They had to win that recruiting, man. Texas A&M and Cider and them guys were recruiting them. They had to win this, man. It wasn't a penciled in situation.
I
don't want to make light of it, bro.
I would have been leading that outrage then, because I had
like right now, Aiden Menzel is not no just penciled in guy, even though his parents both ran track at University of Florida. Like when we get him, everybody's like, "Well, he's a legacy." Nah, bro. Like we fighting against some real programs that want that kid, and they got to win that.
Yeah. Treyon Webb, Nick on threes ranked as the number 6 running back. Like you said, the 247 composite has him ranked as the number 5 running back overall, ranked 162 on their composite. I know a lot of guys have folks higher, Cedric Baxter, Richard Young, some other names. The kid is no slight. He's a very, very talented running back. Florida fought hard. They went head-to-head against Jawan Sider for this one. Jawan Sider is obviously known as one of the best recruiters in the country. So great get for Jabbar Jalouk, great get for Billy Napier and their staff, and certainly going to be a guy that helps piece together a nice running back room, hopefully for the Florida Gators. And then finally on Saturday, the Gators grab wide receiver Eugene Wilson out of Gator High School here in Tampa. Listed as an athlete on some of the different websites, is going to come to the University of Florida as a slot wide receiver, 5'11", 165 pounds. I know he's a bit heavier than that now. I know On3 has him ranked as in the top 50 overall.
48 overall.
The composite rankings have him somewhere in the mid 140s, but I know that On3 is very high on him. So Nick, give me your thoughts on Eugene Wilson.
I love this get for Florida. Not to talk down on the guys that they have, because they've had good receivers, but they have a lot of long stride possession receivers. They've had trouble getting open. That's not an issue for Eugene Wilson. He is a pure slot receiver. Silky smooth. He's got some shake to him at the line of scrimmage, gets open. I think he's like a true 4-4 guy. Great route runner. And this is what Florida needed. I got a ton
of
return
some kicks and punts, man.
Yes. Yeah. It does that in high school as well. I got a lot of crap when I said this was the worst wide receiver group that I'd ever seen when I said that in the spring. And then Billy cut a dude and got a kid from JUCO and got a kid in the portal. Obviously Eugene Wilson doesn't help, but this is the kind of kid that Florida would love to have on the roster this year. I think kind of what Rick Pearsall that kind of the role that he'll fill this year for the offense.
Yeah, his dad, a former NFL cornerback, won a pair of Super Bowls, played at Illinois. 11.36 100-meter, 22.85 200. As a sophomore, has obviously gotten faster. A guy that I think is going to be a great slot receiver for the Gators, and somebody that they've missed for quite some time now.
A football player, man. Everything is all fun and games, man. But sometimes some guys you just turn on. Like Percy Harvin was just a football player.
Mm-hmm.
Some guys just get the ball in the hand, they can make shit happen. So this type of kid that we got, man, very good get, man. Good win by the staff to pull it out of their back pocket when they needed one. Keep the momentum rolling. We need Aiden Menzel, bro, and we need Andy Jean. Mm-hmm. I need all that speed, all that in my wide receiver room, man. Shout out to Kerry Colbert doing what he got to do, bro.
Yeah. No, I do want to give we call it in hockey, we call them stick taps, right? To Kerry Colbert. I know that there was a lot of question marks about
stick taps.
Yeah.
Elaborate for me and mine.
And take your stick and you tap it on the ice as like a congratulations or clapping, right? Because you're wearing gloves and stuff. Yeah.
So stick clap. Okay.
Yeah. Cool. So I know Kerry Colbert, there were some question marks, whether they were founded or not. There was definitely some question marks about Kerry Colbert in recruiting. Has come around, has recruited some great players, and has Florida in the final and top of a couple of big names. Silky just named a few of Andy Jean and Aiden Mizell. You'll both be great gets for the Florida Gators. Definitely guys that would round out a very solid group of core specialty offensive players that Florida desperately needs, and some athleticism in that room where they seem to be lacking a little bit.
No doubt.
Let's give a quick shout out to our friends over at Home Field Apparel. Visit homefieldapparel.com. Use promo code Stadium and Gale. They just dropped the new Oklahoma line, so maybe you're like Harrison, Tenzer, and a fan of Oklahoma as well. You can use the promo code Stadium and Gale and get 15% off of your order. 17 different UF vintage items on there. Visit homefieldapparel.com. Use promo code Stadium and Gale, all one word. Boys, it isn't all peachy keen in the world of recruiting. The Gators do lose Lucas Simmons today, offensive lineman out of, I believe, Clearwater here, originally from Sweden, to FSU. They had also lost Kearney a couple weeks ago to Florida State as an offensive lineman. They lose Francis Magua, who goes to the University of Miami. But ultimately, it does not seem that the University of Florida offensive line recruiting is going super well right now. Any thoughts or question marks there?
Big question marks, man.
Mm-hmm.
With 3 periods following it. I don't know what to do right now. But you can't be – it was one thing like to lose recruits, right? It's another thing to lose to Florida State. I understand Atkins is a really good recruiter, and they have long relationships with these kids. So I get all that, but it's Florida State, and we just got to find a way. We got 2 offensive linemen coaches, so two offensive line coaches versus one guy. We should have the advantage there. We should be able to relationship this, catch up, and do something. But you got to find a way to get guys in the trenches. We can't be selling. We just dealt with this with the last like 2 or 3 regimes as far as getting subpar or I don't like no slight at these kids, but they're not 5-star. It's a lot of guys that we got to develop. They're lower ranked kids. And it starts in the trenches, man. Defensive line is doing all right. They doing what they got to do, but we can't run and chase down Bama as a program, whiffing the offensive lineman and losing battles with Florida State.
Here's a little not fun fact, but it is a fact. If you look at the On3 list of offers, now this isn't certainly the most comprehensive list, and they're taking folks at their word, and you have to follow up. But there are 26 offensive tackles that UF has offered. Outside of Bryce Leavitt, who is committed, Florida is not a favorite to land any of them, and it looks like more than half of them have already committed to other programs. If you look at interior offensive linemen outside of Najee Harris, the Gators are not trending for any of them. Not great.
They might have to take Harris back if he won't back in. Like I know some fans out there saying that.
Kinsler?
Nah, leave him out. Yeah, Kinsler. They might have to take him back if he won't back in.
Yeah.
On the lowest of keys. I don't feel good. I don't feel good about Peyton Kirkland. I don't know where we at, but I don't feel like it's us. I feel like Oklahoma, maybe Miami, but I don't feel like it's us there. But who knows? I could be wrong. But just my feel. So I don't know where they're gonna go at, but they got to figure something out. So I think Kinsler is still on the market for them out as much as some fans may want to just be like, oh, screw that kid, but they got to fill these spots and bring in some talent.
Yeah, certainly doesn't look great. I know that Florida has some
personally like Kinsler over Peyton Kirkland as well, but we need both.
Yeah, you want to probably have 16 or 17 offensive linemen on your team. So you need probably 4 or 5, maybe 6 per year, because you are going to process, you are going to lose some to transfer. So right now, Florida sits with just 2 offensive line commits, 1 tackle and 1 guard. Certainly like Najee Harris, but definitely a lot of work to be done. And right now, it just doesn't look super pretty.
And then linebackers is probably just as bad. Those are 2 trouble areas and main areas of concern right now. Quarterback position has been answered. Kerry Colbert showing that he know what he's doing on the trail a little bit here. So it's linebacker, offensive line. That's scary. I mean, of course, tight end as well. I know we pretty much shut down tight end recruiting for the whole cycle, but that ain't a good thing.
So the Gators have offered, according to On3, 23 linebackers. And if you look at their prediction index or prediction score valuation that they have, Florida's not trending, for any of them. They did lose target Raylan Wilson, who had been committed to Michigan from Lincoln High School there in Tallahassee. He just committed to Georgia. I know that Florida had also offered Andrew Harris and his brother Michael Harris. Both of them committed to UCF last week. But right now, if you look at the list, Florida is not even in the top 2 for any linebacker prospects that are out there right now, if you consider the recruiting prediction index.
Yeah, still games to be played, still signing day to get to, and we'll see how these coaches can also, how the staff works out as far as field-wise. And then we can critique it towards the end of the year when all the results are in. When the football games are played and we can see the X's and O's and how the staff, the 2 offensive linemen and no OC, how all of that, we can save our opinions for that. But right now we're just getting recruiting results.
How much do you think the season, and not even necessarily wins and losses, but just there's so much of an unknown of, okay, well, what is Billy Napier's offense going to look like at Florida? What are the Patrick Toney first time really calling a defense, especially at this level? How much of what the product looks like? Because even if Florida goes 7-5, you can sell, hey, you see the vision, we just need help. We need you to come and help us. You can sell that, especially after 1 year. How much does the season and what the Gators look like on the field, how much is that going to affect recruiting?
I think season just give us more time, especially we lost kids to UCF and Florida State, right? So that gives us time to keep building relationships with those same kids, because we didn't lose them until like the the people that's been busting our heads like Georgia, we'll be fine. As long as we keep our relationships going, I think we can still double back on kids that went to UCF and Florida State, because those teams are not going to have the. At the end of the day, kid got to decide he want to go to UCF or Florida. The bigger brand, I think, will win in that situation. That's what history has taught us. Florida State is going to piss their pants, man. I'm not worrying about any kid that's going there, but that don't mean that kid's going to flip to us, right? We could lose in on the second go around as well. But we'll still have an opportunity to still recruit these kids, build relationships, because they went to programs like UCF and Georgia. Not Georgia, I'm sorry, Florida State.
Yeah, no, I am a little concerned, Nick. I think that you make a point. I still think that there are games to be played. I think a lot of things could and will change in recruiting. I think that there's probably some things in NIL that will change too, right? I mean, we're still 6 months away from signing day, or 5 months away from that first early signing day. But I do have just a couple of question marks. They're not big question marks just yet, but they're small and they seem to be growing. Rob Sale is not new to football. He's not a new name in offensive line. And Jay Bateman, same as a linebacker coach, former defensive coordinator as well. They both have a lot to rest on, right? That they're both not unknown names. They're not Darnell Stapleton, right? Darnell is former NFL player getting started in coaching, rank himself up. I can see some question marks about him if he was your only offensive line coach. But you pull a guy from the NFL and you're having questions, or you're losing out in recruiting battles when you have a big name in the industry and a good reputation. That's my concern.
I think it's big names to us, the fans, but not to the recruits, right? Those like relationships that they have with these coaches already are bigger than, he came from the Giants. Sure. You know what I'm saying? So in our mind, we look at that, okay, he grabbed coaches from the NFL, and that's what you can sell that to the kid. But an actual relationship, I think that's more of an advantage in college football. Sure. To have been recruiting this kid since he was in 9th grade, and you just came from the NFL. It's just like, bro, I've known this kid for 3 years. That's a different slap than a few months, and you just came from the NFL. Yeah. Anything's possible, but relationship, if I'm the kid, just from like a personal standpoint, that would probably mean more to me than him coming from the NFL.
Yeah. And again, we are still months away. Recruiting, the trajectory of recruiting is certainly a lot better over the last, 2 weeks than it certainly was before. And I think a lot of the message board commentary has certainly calmed down a little bit. Nick's job on On3's message board has probably been a little bit easier recently as well. Gentlemen, we've got a couple more things that we want to talk about, but before we do that, everybody go visit alumnihall.com. Just checking their website now. A couple of really cool items that they just put up there. They just put on an old vintage Al Horford jersey, an old vintage Joakim Noah jersey. They have some stuff for baseball. They have things for Peter Millar if you're a golfer. A lot of really great stuff, some quarter zips, some basketball and general life apparel for the guys and women as well. They have a 2 for $38 t-shirt option as well, where you can get 2 shirts for $38. Great selection. We're just a couple of days and a couple of weeks away from the new Nike and new Jordan apparel for the new season. So go check out alumnihall.com and go buy your Florida Gators wear for the fall. All right, gentlemen, we talked a little bit about it. We got tagged in a very random tweet today that spawned another question that I have for you. The tweet that we got tagged in was pick a trio. Trio A was Tim Tebow, Christian McCaffrey, and Percy Harvin. And trio B was Baker Mayfield, Derrick Henry, and Dede Westbrook. If you look at the results of people voting in the poll, 94% of people chose A. But that spawned a question that I have for you all. If we were to pick 3 players, 1 quarterback, 1 running back, and 1 wide receiver from the Florida Gators, past or present, what would you pick? So we're going to do a snake draft. We did this a couple years ago with a draft, but we're going to do a quick snake of who we would pick. I've got a wheel pulled up here. Let's see. Let's get this pulled up. All right. So we're going to click to spin first. First is... looks like Nick. So Nick, you will go first, and then 6th.
What is this? Look at this.
All right.
All right,
And
Nick.
then-
Get ready for the winner.
And then Silk,
Oh, this
Dan.
thing's racist. Oh, no, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Silk, you get to go second, and then I will go third. Nick?
Tim Tebow, put it on the board.
All right, give me Percy.
I will go with Emmett Smith.
Nice.
And then I'll go with I guess I got to go with Danny Werfel.
Nice.
Ooh.
Oh, stop it. The pick is in. The pick is in. You gave the commissioner your card.
Oh,
You gave the
man.
commissioner your card.
No. I'm at running back, right?
And you're at whatever you want. Doesn't have to be in order.
Yeah. I'm gonna go running back. Give me Fred. I got Fred.
Okay. I go back to back. Can I go Kyle Pitts? Can I count him as a receiver?
If you sure, Nick.
We're gonna go Kyle Pitts, and then
Very simple rules, but Nick has to bend them.
and then my favorite running back growing up, I'm gonna go with C4. So I'm in with Tebow, Seatric Facing, and Kyle Pitts.
I mean, the average person would probably right here go like Steve Spurrier or something weird. But give me Sexy Rexy, baby.
That's who I was gonna go with.
Give me Sexy Rexy, baby. We're going clubbing after this win.
Hey,
Yeah, baby.
And then I think I'll go. I'm gonna go Riedel Anthony. An interesting little battle there. I like your team, Nick. I like your
Great
team,
team.
Silk.
Yeah.
Sorry, who'd you pick again? Fred, Percy. Oh, and then Rex. All right. I think I came in third. I don't love.
Yeah,
the way
you
that
sure
I,
did, Dan.
I don't love the
You
way.
sure did, Dan.
Don't love the way. Don't love the way that I turned out there.
Oh man.
Oh man.
Oh,
Don't love the way I turned out. There's a lot of names that I could have gone with.
Dan was seconds away from saying Felipe Franks.
Oh man.
Oh man, I was waiting on the Applebee. I was like, what is he waiting on? What is he doing?
Gee, that's a tough look for me, That's a tough look for me.
Like you said, Dunbar receiver. I was like, what? Give him a mulligan. Give him a mulligan. Go do it again. Let's do it again, Dan. Go again.
Dan's got Skyler Morningweg, Kamori Gamble.
And then I know I'm lost at that point, so I just put Gerald Willis on the team just to have fun.
Building a squad.
Oh man.
High character group, right? Oh man. I like my my synergy with Werfel and Riedel.
Yeah, you got a little
Got
same
that.
time period chemistry there. I like it.
Jeez Louise. That's a rough one for old Dan the man. All right, boys.
I got a gangster huddle right there, bro. Rexy,
do.
Fred, and Percy, man. We go anywhere.
That's
Good,
solid.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's my idea. And I mean, talk about just
Man.
yeah.
You
Geez
choked
Louise.
it.
Thank God that Will wasn't racist, man.
Yeah.
That third pick is rough.
Through the game. It shouldn't be rough. You get back-to-back picks. You get the third and the
I
fourth
mean,
pick.
once you take Tebow and Percy, it gets a little tricky though, because you
Mhm.
almost gotta like you gotta be solid on this next pick.
Yeah,
And he fumbled.
I
He
got
nervous.
an old school game of football here. The old ground and pound. Old statue
You got
quarterback.
a good team. It's just not sexy.
It's just not. It's just a distant third. Still gonna put up numbers, but still a distant third when you think about it. Oh man. So you had brought this up before the show started today. There's some discussion about Anthony Richardson, whose nickname is AR-15, to potentially want to change that nickname or no longer use that nickname. In light of obviously the unfortunate mass casualties that we've had. But Silk, what are your thoughts, or Nick, do you guys have any thoughts on the matter?
I think we all saw this eventually coming, right?
I mean, well, yeah. So Kamori Gamble had switched from 88 to 15, and then NAL becomes a thing, and AR went to him and was like, "Hey, man, I've got like some branding stuff." So this was planned, like the AR-15, like the rifle scope I think that works with a quarterback. If you're talking about like accuracy, things like that, I get it. With everything that's going on with mass shootings in our country, I also get being like, hey, let's maybe not associate with something that is close to that if we're trying to get brands to invest in me.
Right. Here's my take. You know my take? If the AR-15 thing is going, put them in one. Best player always won, man. Billy want to win me over. Convince AR to wear one, man. I think that's the play. That's just my take. That's all I got, But we all kind of saw. I think we all talked about this behind the scenes that like would he possibly go away from that gun reference, and we're starting to see a little bit of that. And it's just with the times, it's hard to brand that type of stuff, man. Just what the times are, bro.
Mm-hmm. Florida did that weird thing where they took all the numbers off the roster again, but I don't think Brenton Cox has number 1. Who wore number 1 last year on offense?
Did anybody? I know Kadarius Toney had it the year before.
They have it Copeland.
Right? Oh, Jacob Copeland. Yeah, that's easy to forget.
Yeah,
that is easy to forget.
Oh, boy, watch.
I just knew we gave it away. No, we're all blocked. It don't matter.
I'm not blocked.
What am I going to do? Have Maryland Twitter and their 3 followers after me?
You watch out for them Terps. Yeah, maybe. Who's number 2? Give him number 2. Give me a little baby Cam Newton vibes.
Nah, man. I want to name the best player in 1. If not, stay at 15. He might want to just stay at his name. I'm not like no pressure. I mean, 15 is a lot of pressure too.
That's my quarterback on my team.
Already. That was just my take. What else we got, Dan?
I think that's about it. We do have an article from Dennis Dobbs that said the SEC is stopping at 16. There was some discussion probably late last week, over the weekend. It probably will never end that the SEC might be looking into adding a couple programs. I know UNC, Virginia, Florida State were names that were brought up in that list. That it was funny to watch Miami meltdown, not knowing that they were going to be involved. But thoughts on 16? Obviously, Florida or the SEC is going to add Oklahoma and Texas here shortly. We talked about it a little bit last week that USC and UCLA are going to the Big Ten. But any thoughts on sticking at 16?
So Scott Strickland already has said on a couple of occasions that when asked about the future of college football and the Power 5, he sees the Big Ten and the SEC as more of a Big 2, as being in better position to kind of separate themselves from the other ones. Like what is the Pac-12 going to? I mean, the Big 12 just added Memphis and UCF to replace Texas and Oklahoma. Like that's not equal. So when Scott told us that over a month ago, almost 2 months ago now, I was like, whoa, one, damn. 2, damn, that's a wild stance for a sitting athletic director to come out and say that. And then I shot him a text message after the news about UCLA and USC happening. I was like, hey, it's almost like you knew something. He just sent back an emoji. I don't think the ACC is going to matter. I don't think the Big 12 is going to matter. I don't think the Pac-12 is going to matter. Like maybe they all join together. I don't think the Big 10 and the SEC will stop. I think they've just stopped for now.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with Scott Strickland saying like those 2 conferences are certainly now, as we sit here today, poised to outrun and outclass the other 3 that make up the Power 5.
Yeah, and if you look at Dobbs' article, or Dennis Dodd's article, pardon me, Stadium and Gale alum Dennis Dodd, he mentioned, say what? Friend of the show, friend of the program. He mentioned that this was at the behest of university presidents. So part of me wonders, obviously as you grow, some of these TV deals are already locked in. There's fixed dollars that will come in, per program. All of a sudden you start to add 3, 4, that number, instead of being divided by 16 is now divided by 20 or maybe more. Certainly a lot of universities, especially ones that maybe don't make a ton of money on football, may be very reliant on that money, right? And not wanting that to dissipate, or maybe just acclamation, or maybe a little bit more thought and reasoning, or maybe try to see where some of the other dominoes fall and who starts to eat up who, and where we go from there. But certainly something that is going to be very interesting to watch. Scott Strickland did mention on our show that he did think that we are on track for a Big Ten SEC two-headed monster. So that certainly seems to be the case. With all of that being said, Silk, take us out for a Manscaped ad read. I've got the song of the week, and then we'll take us out.
Right before the show, I wrote a story. We had some early betting lines come out. Some surprising, and we can just run through them real quick. And
let me pull that up, Nick, unless you have it.
I have it pulled up. Let me throw it in the chat for you so we can both have it up.
All right, I'll actually put it up on the screen here, so the lovely folks that are watching on YouTube. So again, if you are interested, we are going to do this every week. We are going to put this on
shout out Gators
live on YouTube. So if you look at Gators Online, Nick went on to, was this FanDuel? Okay, so FanDuel. We got 6 games that were announced. All right, so UF and Utah. Utah 1.5 point favorites, over under 53. Defending Pac-12 champions coming to Gainesville. Utah 1.5 point favorites seems about right to me. Nick, your thoughts?
Generally, you get Vegas gives the home team 3 points. That's just like the home field advantage. So if you look at this, you're thinking, okay, well, they've got Utah as a 4.5 point favorite in their minds. Florida gets 3 for being at home. It's still under a touchdown. I think Utah beats Florida. I think Utah should be favored. If I'm betting that, I'm probably laying the 1.5 with Utah.
Yeah, I think right now, everything that I know, I'm laying 1.5 Utah myself. Kentucky at Florida. This one surprised me a little bit. Not that I don't think
there.
Yeah, right here, bro.
What do you think? So Utah 1.5.
I like it. I'm not mad at it. We'll see, man. It's a lot of unknowns with Florida,
right?
Man.
Yeah.
Just to be straight up, we like what this offense is going to look like. Defense is going to look like in the trenches. That's a very veteran bunch that's coming out from Utah. So I'm not mad at that line, just from the unknowns. But we're gonna fatten their lips when they get up out here, though.
No.
Yeah, straight up. But that's a nice little line they got there. But we're gonna take care of business.
Over under 53. What do you think? I'm gonna say.
This was the only one that had an over under listed.
Yeah, and that's
Utah can
first game.
Utah can score,
score.
Dude. Like
they can score.
Utah can score. I think I would go
out there
over 53. I mean, that's like a 30. Yeah, that's probably a good line.
Yeah,
listen, there's a reason they keep building palaces out in Vegas.
Oh yeah, for sure. Not a bad line though from my perspective. 1.5 with a team like that. What do they rank 8?
Line, or it hasn't come out yet. They will probably be ranked somewhere
top 10
in the 7 to 12 range.
Yeah. So like we'll see what we're ranked, but I like that line. And I like us to win that game, bro. I gotta watch a little bit more film and stuff, but they gotta come out here to this humidity, what they call the swamp and whatnot. What we got for the Kentucky game next?
Kentucky Gators -4.
Right on.
Yeah, I don't think that Kentucky's going to be as good this year as they were last year. I like the Gators to win, and win by more than 4.
I'll know more later.
People are really high on Will Levis. People are really, really high on Will Levis this offseason.
Yeah, I gotta see more. They're high on him, but I don't know about the pieces around him.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, Florida, it's been a rough go. Silk's guy Dan Mullen not only lost
You're an idiot.
He's trying to rob me up, man. He's trying to rob me up. How's my guy?
Stokes' main man, Daniel K. Mullen.
Is it K for nose?
I don't know what. I don't know. I just made it up on the spot. It's for UK, a team he lost to twice in 4 years.
Which was egregious.
Something Ron Zook never did.
It would have been 3 if Trash can't go GOAT mode.
That's right.
We went on a 3-game losing streak to
that's wild.
The Bluegrass State, bro.
Wild. Dan Mullen's getting paid so much money right now.
And he's, bro, I think he's in, where is he at now?
Bro, he's in the Maldives.
I want to talk. Let's talk about that. I don't want to talk about him.
Bro, he's Martha's Vineyard, somewhere like that. All right.
Living the dream.
LSU at Florida, Florida -3. Put this neutral field. That's an even line. What are your thoughts, Brian Kelly versus Billy Napier?
I'm not a Brian Kelly believer. I don't think he's going to do well there. He is recruiting well right now. It's been weird, bro. Like the LSU,
Man,
like
Billy
there's no way you
I feel
lose.
good. I feel good about this game because Billy gonna take this game personal.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why I feel good about this game. We'll never sleep on LSU.
He's got family back there.
Ain't nobody throwing no shoes in no LSU games no more. I guarantee you that. There were some people that was suggesting that LSU should have hired Billy, and I'm pretty sure he wanted that job. So I don't think he's gonna go into that game sleeping at all. So
yeah, no. Ross Dellinger on our show said that he'd be interested in that job back then. So Florida versus Georgia in Jacksonville. Georgia -15.
they tried the hell out of us, didn't they?
Bro, I didn't. That's
a lot. I think right now I'm taking if that bet's available, I'm taking Florida +15. I don't think that Florida's necessarily going to win, and I don't necessarily know if Georgia's not going to beat Florida by more than 15. But I do know that right now, knowing what I know, that's an egregious line.
That's an insane line right there.
But
they building palaces in Vegas. We'll see. We just got games to play, man. This is preseason lines, bro. But I like it. What we got next?
Texas A&M or Florida at Texas A&M. Texas A&M -7.
And that's the week after Georgia. Like you're turning around.
Yeah.
The week after Georgia, flying to College Station for the third time. Like Auburn hasn't been to College Station, or not Auburn. Georgia hasn't been to College Station yet. This is going to be Florida's third trip in a decade.
Right.
That's wild.
-7. I don't know. I don't think that Texas A&M is ever really that good. They get a couple big wins, but they're probably on track for another 84 season.
We need to do a Stadium and Gale roll up to College Station. I'll be there.
Well, I will be honest with you. I've been to College Station. I don't know if I've ever been to a place in my life.
I've heard the best about that visit, man, from most people.
I'm looking forward to getting the real game day experience. My only time there was 2020, and the stadium was far from full.
And then finally, probably the most egregious of them all, Florida at Florida State.
Yeah.
Florida State -2.
Hey man, Jacob said we need to do the super chat so they could donate. How do we do the super chat?
I don't know. I just asked TJ. We asked Harlan. So
yeah, them boys got us. We got you, Jacob. If you got money, we got the button.
Yeah. Just let me know, Dan.
For sure.
I'll make sure it gets to who it needs to get to.
Absolutely.
Florida State -2 over Florida. I don't see it.
That one to me is
I don't see it.
That's disrespectful.
Yeah, they drunk.
Bro, Money Mike's like 8-13.
That's a terrible football team they got over there in Panhandle, man.
Hey, they're good on TikTok, bro. They got them dances down pat.
That thing looked pathetic on the offensive line. We should manhandle some things. We just gotta stay healthy and like a lot of football gotta get played, but I'm not like them lines is preseason. Who knows what? Give me a couple games and revisit that. We'll keep a track of it, but I'm not concerned about no lines, man.
And one more update.
That's for gambling boys. That's for the gambling boys, man. That ain't for me.
One more update. Silk, you're running away with the early voting. Dan, distant third.
I knew it. I mean, there's
distant
just
third.
I mean,
y'all got it out there
from the Twitter account. Yeah.
Let's see. Let me pull it up real quick. Yo. Share screen, Chrome tab.
Oh, watch out.
Dan, 13.2, a lowly 13.02. Nick, 29.6. Silk, 57.2 with 243 votes. As long as Spurrier's coaching B is correct. Riedel picked over Ike. Yeah, I've realized my mistake late. Percy puts whatever group is over the top. And then Lisa, appreciate you voting for me, Lisa, because she said all three. So ipso facto, she voted for me.
Is that your one vote?
Yeah, probably. Well,
I
Nick,
feel sorry for you.
I can see it. You can see it. We will keep track of that. Silk, let's do a Manscaped ad read. I'll get the song of the week, and we appreciate everybody for watching on the live stream. We will do it every week. Follow us on YouTube.
And we bringing them buttons for the donations and whatnot.
Yeah. Super chat.
Be sure to visit manscaped.com. Get all your man grooming essentials. Ball deodorant, lawnmower 4.0, body wash, nostril. You got the weed whacker to get the nose hair and the ear hair, man. If you got that type of problem, man, we can take care of it. Not we, but Manscaped can. You can. Take care of yourself, man. Hygiene is top-notch stuff, bro. You should be smelling good. You should be unshaved. You can't be Harry Larry out here with the man hoochie shorts on. You know what I'm saying? Coupon code SG20 at checkout for 20%. No, I'm sorry, 20SG at checkout for 20% off and free shipping. Manscaped, best of the best when it comes to man grooming. What are you listening to, Dan?
I'm gonna do one of my favorite groups. I'm actually going to see them Sunday. Me and Brooke and our buddy Paul and his wife Erin are heading up to St. Augustine to see our friends Whiskey Myers at the St. Augustine amphitheater up there. But opening for them is an incredible band called Shane Smith. So let's play their new song. It's called Hummingbird. But Shane Smith and the Saints Hummingbird. Happy 7-Eleven Day. If you, I know Silk, you're probably not interested, but Nick, you might be. Free Slurpees over at 7-Eleven.
I'm good.
So you don't strike me as a Slurpee guy, you know?
I'm not. No, who was a Slurpee guy? But I indulge from time to time. I got kids.
I mean, you get a little munchies. Slurpee sounds good.
Yeah.
Milkshake was more my bag. Now I gotta get like the vegan milkshakes and do them myself. But milkshakes
a lot of
more
fun
my
memories.
Bag than slushies.
I used to do a lot of get a Slurpee after my hockey games when I was growing up. So that was always a fun memory, whether it was my mom or dad. That would take me after a game. So a lot of fond 7-Eleven Slurpee memories.
Yeah.
But all right, boys, same corner, same time next week. Great episode next week. Todd Golden.
Are we hanging out a little bit?
Hanging out. We'll see you guys on Wednesday for that, and then we'll see you guys next Monday. Thanks so much.
Todd.